cisgender people are transphobic, just as all men hold misogynistic views and all white people are racist.
Where have I heard that before?
Everything is sexist, everything is racist, everything is homophobic.
All cisgender people are transphobic.
I mean, what a shitty world to live in, like painting the world around you as always racist, always transphobic, always misogynistic. Is there no silver lining with these people?
I've known that I'm trans for 5 years, and I still sometimes struggle with internalized transphobia. Thoughts that maybe I am a freak.
Aha, you're projecting. Just because you think you're a freak doesn't mean everyone around you constantly thinks you're a freak. Calm down.
If you tell me that as a cisgender person, you are not transphobic, you are telling me not to trust you.
Oh my God. So, you only trust someone who tells you they are transphobic. Because that's them repenting for their sins, right?
By telling me that you are not transphobic, you're telling me that you are unaware or choose to live in the dark about the way that we are socialized in a Western society.
Okay, so what this is an attack on Western society, and that no matter how tolerant and open someone is, they can never prove themselves proper to the high priestesses and priests who will always expand what is offensive and what words they want to ban or restrict. These are people in the whole political correctness, social justice warrior movement that want to control reality. This is a weaponized globalist program, declassified, to do this. Now, it takes over other movements and other groups and other things. But at its core, this is what it's projecting, in my view, and from our research. And so I want to go to our guest now, but just imagine where this just never stops. No one can ever just be left alone. You've got to be told because you're white or you're Western or you're male, you're inherently bad. Well, that is inherently classist, racist, bigoted at its foundation, because any dumbed-down intellectual movement is going to be based on that. So this is the product of our dumbed-down society, the lowered IQ, all of it. And this is the type of weaponized media we face. Blaire White, thanks for coming on. I mean, you've heard my comments on this. I saw your video and thought it was thought-provoking, because I mean, this is inside the whole debate. It seems like these people are bullies trying to order everyone to just do exactly what they say. But even if you submit every week, they're updating the new thing you must do. But even if you do that, you can't help the fact, because you're, I guess, white, you're inherently evil.
Absolutely. One of the reasons why I started my channel was because I was tired of being co-opted by these people. I think that unfortunately they've gained a monopoly on, anything to do with transgenderism. And it was just really frustrating for me. So I wanted to start my channel and sort of just provide just a different narrative, because unfortunately their way of thinking and their way of looking at, trans issues and anything in the world has become the mainstream narrative. And if you go against it, then you are blacklisted, basically.
We see a radicalization here, just like with Islam, where the most radical get in control, so they're always one-upping each other on who can be the most extreme. Do you think that's kind of what's happening here? And also, who is the fountainhead of all this? Where is all this, extreme acceleration of rhetoric coming from?
I really don't know. I think I kind of want to say it comes from campuses, universities. I think that my experience on a university campus has been definitely telling. I think that, instructors and professors definitely teach this stuff as if it's fact, when it really isn't. And unfortunately, on campuses, it's not really safe for people with dissenting views. So I think it comes from campuses.
So that means the government and the big foundations.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what caused it or where it came from, but I definitely know that, education is being used as the foundation for it.
Well, look, it's a free world. I don't hate anybody for their identity. And I understand that folks, have different views, different ideas out there. I mean, I truly am what we call a classical liberal. But what about some of the people out there that claim they were confused when they were young, and the state, the system came in and push them to say, no, you are another gender?
Yeah, my story isn't like that. I definitely transitioned a little bit later in life. I'm 22. I started my transition around 20. And I think that it's definitely wrong for any type of institution, whether it be a teacher, whether it be the state, whether it be a doctor, or a therapist to push that on a kid. You know, transitioning is a really serious decision, and it's one that will affect the rest of your life. And it's one that has a lot of irreversible changes, sometimes dangerous changes. So I definitely disagree with that. I think that transition is a choice that you make, should be when you're an adult.
Where imagine you're a man, when you transition to a woman, or if you disagree with that, people think you're a woman, and suddenly you're treated so much better. So there's just so many different angles that Blaire White's bringing up that I never hear from the mainstream barking of just bullying, look at me, I'm the center of the universe, by the whole mainstream media system. Let's talk about that a little bit. And then also, do you agree or disagree that there seems to be a cultural obsession with this now, and that I really think it's just about getting people ready overall, not a judgment on you or anyone individually, but overall the media is pushing it to prepare us for body augmentation, merging with machines?
I have no idea about merging with machines or anything. I've never heard about that at all. But on the female privilege thing, I would say that that's one of the reasons I also started my channel. I think there's a real cultural shift happening that really demonizes straight white men. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to speak out about this kind of thing. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, absolutely. It's like some of these folks say, you're an effing white male. You don't have any speech, but they're white males saying it. Or redheads don't have souls. That goes beyond South Park. People really make fun of redheads now. It's very mean. What do you think's going on?
I really, really don't know. I don't know if there's some, grand scheme to force men into some kind of second-class citizenship, but I know that it's happening. Not that happening, but I know that the cultural shift is happening, and it's something that I wanted to speak out against because, in my experience, I think that, coming from someone who's lived life on sort of both sides of the fence, I think that there are a lot of social advantages and privileges afforded to women. And I think that the idea that men somehow hold all of the power in society is false.
What were some of your experiences? You break them down in the video, but once you've gone from a man to a woman, what were the experiences?
I think that, society in general, people around you, friends, even family, they seem to put your comfortability in high regard. Everyone really looks out for you a lot more. People are definitely kinder. Complete strangers will go out of their way to make your day better or help you out or just hold doors. And, those are trivial, but there's also larger things like getting less prison sentences, less time, and obviously lower rates of violence, homicide, and even rape when you count in prison stats. So I think there's a lot of things that people tend to overlook, and feminists seem to harp on this toxic masculinity thing, which I think is also pretty bad.
Well, it's a war within humanity, a war against our very nature to bring us down. I mean, that's what's going on. And humans are all about changing their environment. Humans are all about, we wear clothing, so we lose our hair. I mean, the human experience is the fact that we are changing. And so I believe in people's individual rights to whatever they want, as long as they don't hurt someone else. But I really think that they have captured the trans movement and things like that only started, 40 years ago, is very, very small, and now it's huge, to drive a public debate that diverts people from so many of our shared basic freedoms that are being lost.
Yeah, I think, like I said earlier in the show, I think trans people have really been co-opted by feminists and by social justice warriors. I think that there's a common misconception by people that transgenderism is an invention of third wave feminism, which is no fault of their own. Like I said, they've really gained a monopoly on the conversation. So anything you ever hear about trans people comes from them. And I think that it does a disservice to actual trans people because it sort of sets them up for an adversarial relationship with the world around them. I mean, the video that you showed of Milo Stewart that I was doing the response video to, telling trans people that everyone around them hates them because they're trans is just, first of all, disingenuous. And second of all, like I said, I think it does a disservice to trans people.
Sure, it sets it up to make it militarized, militant, and to create balkanization. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think that it also drives, people that aren't trans, in other words, the overwhelming majority of people, to think that we all hold these very crazy militant beliefs. And like I said, it's a huge disservice.
Well, I'm glad you recognize you're being used as a pawn big time. And, all political groups to some extent have pawns. But I tell you, I don't know what you call the left today. I mean, they're constantly promoting pedophilia. They're attacking the family. They're attacking women that are in classical roles. It's really an anti-human group of people, in my view.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is it seems as if, to me, that transgender women are actually on the next chopping block to be sort of kicked out of the in-group when it comes to these people. There's been more and more people sort of expressing the view that trans women reinforce the gender binary and that we are problematic because of that.
Well, that's right. They want to go to gender neutral. You're absolutely right. You're being completely set up. I want to get you back on. Very, very, very sophisticated, very smart. We'll be back.